In our today's lecture, we will start our new chapter, that is reproductive system. And in our first part, we will be covering female reproductive system. So our today's topic is about the external genitalia, which is also called vulva. That is basically consists of labia majora, labia minora, the clitoris, the vaginal orifice, the vestibule, and the hymen, and also the vestibular glands, that are basically the Bartholin's glands. So we will discuss all these structures individually, and before that, you should know some of the basic functions of the female reproductive system. You already know that the main function of the female reproductive system is the formation of ova or egg, and also the reception of sperm, and it also provides suitable environment for the fertilization, and it is also responsible for the fetal development. Another very important process takes place within the reproductive system, female reproductive system, that is parturition, and that is basically the process of childbirth. So in our today's lecture, we will be covering the external genitalia, vulva, that consists of labia majora, labia minora, clitoris, vestibular glands, blood supply, and perineum. So I will describe all structures through this figure, and we will first of all discuss about the labia majora. These skin folds, are called labia majora, and these are the two folds that basically form the boundary of the vulva, that I have already told you. External genitalia are collectively, we are calling them vulva, that consist of labia majora, labia minora, the clitoris, the vaginal orifice, and the vestibule, the hymen, and the vestibular glands. So the first external genitalia that we discussed is the labia majora, and we are saying that these are the two large skin folds forming the boundary of the vulva, and they basically composed of skin, fibrous tissue, and fat, and they contain numerous number of sebaceous and eccrine sweat glands. You already know about the eccrine glands and the sebaceous glands. So interiorly, as you can see, this fold is joining in front of the symphysis pubis, and you know that the symphysis pubis is basically a joint between the two pubic bones, and on its posterior surface, you can see that it is merging with the skin of the perineum. So basically, the perineum is the area in female between the vulva and the anus. This triangular shape, roughly triangular shaped part, we are calling this area perineum, and in females this is the part between the vulva and the anus, and in male this part will be between the scrotum and anus. So once again, if we summarize the labia majora, this is the part of vulva first of all, and we studied that labia majora consists of two large folds, and these folds are consisting of skin, fibrous tissue, and fat, and they also contain a numerous number of sebaceous and eccrine sweat glands. Interiorly, as you can see that this fold anteriorly is joining in front of the symphysis pubis, and posteriorly this is merging with the skin of perineum. And at puberty, hair grows on the pubic symphysis or mons pubis and on the lateral surface of the labia majora. The next structure that we are going to discuss is the labia minora, and these folds, these smaller folds of skin between the labia majora are called the labia minora. This is mentioned in this diagram as well. This is the labia majora, and these smaller folds of skin between the labia majora, you can see these are the labia minora, and they also contain sebaceous and eccrine sweat glands just like the labia majora. And this cleft here, cleft means separation or division, and we can say that the separation between these two folds of the labia minora, this area is called the vestibule, and the vaginal orifice here, this is the vaginal orifice, urethra, this is the external urethral orifice, and the ducts of the greater vestibular glands open into the vestibule. Once again, we are talking about the labia minora, and we have said that the labia minora is basically composed of two smaller folds. These are the two smaller folds that are lying just beneath the labia majora, or we can say that these are the smaller folds of skin between the labia majora, and they contain numerous sebaceous and eccrine sweat glands just like the labia majora. Then we said that the cleft between the labia minora, this part, this area here is called the vestibule, and this vestibule contains vaginal orifice. This is the vaginal orifice, urethra, that is the external urethral orifice, and the ducts of the greater vestibular glands. These all open into the vestibule. Next is the clitoris, and the clitoris corresponds to the penis in the male, and it contains numerous sensory nerve endings and the erectile tissue. Now we will talk about the vestibular glands, and these vestibular glands are very important as they secrete the mucus, and that mucus helps in keeping the vulva moist. So the vestibular glands are also called Bartholin's gland, and these are situated one on each side near the vaginal opening. Here you can see the opening of the Bartholin's duct, and each one duct will be present on each side. They are about the size of a small pea, and once again the opening is into the vestibule, immediately lateral to the attachment of the hymen. So what is basically hymen? Hymen is a thin piece of mucosal tissue that surrounds, or we can say partially covers, the external vaginal opening, and this is also a part of the vulva or external genitalia, and it breaks during the intercourse. So you can see the opening of the Bartholin's ducts just lateral to the attachment of the hymen. And we have already discussed about the function of the vestibular glands, that they are responsible for the secretion of mucus that keeps the vulva moist. And we have talked about the perineum as well. This is a roughly triangular shaped area extending from the labia minora to the anal canal, and it consists of connective tissue, muscle and fat, and it also gives attachment to the muscles of the pelvic floor. Next we will talk about the blood supply, lymph drainage and the nerve supply of the female external genitalia. And you already know about the internal and external iliac arteries. We know that the internal and external iliac arteries are the branches of common iliac arteries. Common iliac that were arising from the right and left common iliac that were arising from the abdominal aorta. They further bifurcate into the internal and external iliac arteries. So the internal pudendal artery basically arises from the internal iliac artery, and external pudendal artery, this is the branch from the femoral arteries. These supply the external genitalia or vulva. So the arterial supply to the female external genitalia vulva is from the external and internal pudendal arteries, and internal pudendal artery is the branch of internal iliac artery, and external pudendal is the branch of femoral artery. The venous drainage, there is basically a large plexus that will ultimately drain into the internal iliac veins. The lymph drainage is through the superficial and deep inguinal nodes that will ultimately drain into the internal iliac nodes, and the nerve supply is through the pudendal nerves. So that's all for today, and if you have any question regarding this lecture, then you can ask. Thank you so much.